You have reached Red Steele's Toy Collector Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing from Masters of the Universe Masterverse Vintage Collection, Skeletor. Masterverse, Masters of the Universe, Skeletor. But before I get into the actual review, I just want to go over some of the beautiful details on this packaging. Up here, typical display I want to show you with the figure. Novels, accessories aside. In the top corner here, you have a 6+, which is an age requirement for this figure. In the other corner here, you have 30 points of articulation. Across the top, it says Masterverse. Down here, you have Vintage Collection. And across the bottom here, you have the Masters of the Universe logo. And on the very bottom here, it says Skeletor, Evil Lord of Destruction. In the corner here, the Mattel emblem. Back of the packaging here, on the very top of this beautiful illustration of Skeletor holding the Havoc Staff and the Power Sword trying to overtake Castle Grayskull. Over here it says, Skeletor ruthlessly schemes to take control of Castle Grayskull and all Eternia. Below that it says, Masters of the Universe 7-inch action figures. You can collect them all, each sold separately. Now here you have all the figures features such as press Power Sword in hand, press Havoc Staff into hand, Skeletor, Evil Lord of Destruction. Over here it says, in 1982, Masters of the Universe took the world by storm with action figures that captured the imagination of people from here to Eternia. Today, the Masterverse celebrates the original designs as modern 7-inch scale action figures with the Vintage Collection. Over here you have the Mattel emblem, and next to that it says, empowering generations through play. Masters of the Universe Masterverse Vintage Collection, Skeletor. Skeletor was released February 2025 with the suggested retail price of $23.72, and he's available exclusively at Walmart. Skeletor has 30 points of articulation, and his accessories include his Havoc Staff, Power Sword, and an extra set of hands. Skeletor stands 7 inches tall, and he is meant for fans ages 6 and up. Now that's Skeletor on my display table, so I'm going to go over some of his plate features and accessories. First, I talk about his extra set of hands. And he comes with 2 additional hands. First, you have the open hand here, and then you have a closed fist. And these hand details are so nicely done. I mean, Mattel puts a lot of love into these hand sculpts. I mean, you got back the hand detail here, knuckle detail, flip it over, you have palm detail, you have folding the fingers, and you have some fingernail detail. Very, very nicely done. Or to swap out these extra set of hands, you take the old hand here, you pop it from the wrist, just like that. At the end of the fist here, you have a tapered peg. At the end of the wrist here, you have a porthole. Push that back into place, and you have another pop. Just like that, now you have Skeletor with his new hand. Very, very cool. I went ahead and put the default hand back in only because of the next part of the review is going to feature his accessories, and that's what these hand grips are for his accessories. So I'm going to take these cool extra set of hands and put them off to the side. Because the next accessory I'm going to bring in is his Power Sword. And you're wondering, why does Skeletor have a purple Power Sword? Well, it depends on which continuity you're going off of, because with the mini comic books that came with the original figures, Skeletor did come with a purple Power Sword, but it was half the Power Sword. He-Man came with the other half. And once you completed the Power Sword by putting them together, they actually became a key to Castle Grayskull. So the whole cool play feature was whoever was the first to acquire both halves of the Power Sword to form the full Power Sword had access to Castle Grayskull, which is really, really cool. That was a continuity that didn't really carry over to the cartoon series, but was very prevalent in the mini comic books that were included with the original figures. When we ordered arm Skeletor with his Power Sword, you take that Power Sword and slide it right into his fist just like that. And I have Skeletor armed with his Power Sword. Another thing you can do with the Power Sword is you can store the Power Sword by turning Skeletor all the way around. On the back of his harness right here, you have a little strap, and you just slide that sword right into the strap, and I have Skeletor's Power Sword stored on his back. Very, very cool. And this Power Sword is actually a redeco of the 40th anniversary He-Man's Power Sword. And you're wondering what a redeco is. A redeco is anytime they take the original piece and mold it out of a different colored plastic, which they did with Skeletor's Power Sword, which they molded out of like a purple plastic, And it's more of a glossier plastic than the original 40th anniversary He-Man's sword. Or it does have a gloss to it, but you can't really tell because the gray plastic, but the purple kind of pops a little bit more. And I kind of do like the purple a little bit more. But I mean, with the standard, you have to go with the silver because that's what the power sword is, at least in the comic book and in the cartoon series. But I'm going to put this off to the side for now. Actually, I'm going to put the power sword off to the side because, you know, I'm more of an 80s kid, and Skeletor did not arm himself with a power sword. But he did arm himself with this nice Havoc staff. This Havoc staff is very, very bulky, and it has a lot of great mold detail to it, as you can see. You can see this ram head up here. Get that mold detail in the face, the eyes, the teeth, the horns. It's nicely done. Even the actual staff is pretty cool. And it's very, very bulky. And it's very challenging to actually arm Skeletor with this Havoc staff. But what I do is I try to pry the fingers open, and it's very difficult to do. And before it conforms to its original shape, to slide the Havoc staff into his fingers. And now you have Skeletor armed with this Havoc staff. And like I said, it's very, very heavy. And I don't know if you really arm it in this hand. And I wouldn't really recommend trying to push it between the fingers because it does cause a little bit of stressing in the plastic where it makes it a little bit whiter. But nonetheless, it's still a cool figure. And this is my definitive Skeletor. And I own a lot of versions of Skeletor. I owned the Masterverse version of Skeletor from Revelation and the vintage. And this one here is really, really nicely done. I mean, you can see the mold detail in the face is really, really, really nicely done. Get the little red dots for the eyes here. I mean, the paint detail on the skull is just fantastic. You got the detail right here with the teeth, the jaws, just everything. The hood it has that classic look to it too, where you got this piece right here, the loincloth, I believe this is called, or skirt armor. I think that's what they call it, but it is removable because you can tab it right there, and even the chest armor is removable. And I do like the fact that they remolded the chest here because the Masterverse Revelation figures, they had a weird sunken in chest thing, and it was more to conform to the armor that usually goes over it, but the figures without the armor did not have that bulky look to them. They had that sunken in, and they had a jutting neck. And I think if you see my early reviews of the Revelation Masterverse figures, they weren't very good, but when they went ahead and they just went with the new Eternia figures and the 40th anniversary figures, they changed the chest sculpt, and it makes it more bulkier, and just it looks a lot nicer. But I mean, 30 points of articulation. You have the ankle articulation, boot articulation, double knee articulation, thigh articulation, hip articulation. You got wrist, elbow, bicep swivel. You have the shoulder where it goes up and down all the way around. You got the midsection, chest right here. You got the waist. You have the head. You just have a lot of points of articulation. This is a fantastic figure. And he displays really well next to my 40th anniversary He-Man, which I do have on hand. He just popped the power sword back into his hand, and I have Skeletor and He-Man side by side, and they look great together. I know earlier last year or 2024 they released a 2-pack which had both these figures in, but I'm just glad to have my hands on both these figures because, I mean, you got He-Man who they've done a lot of different versions of. I mean, you had the classic version, and they did an awful Revelations version of He-Man, which I did not like, the Surfer He-Man. And when they came out this, I think Mattel redeemed himself with He-Man because this is the He-Man that I call my definitive He-Man, and now I have a Skeletor to go along with him. I want to go and take He-Man and put him off to the side. But if you guys found any of the information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel, and while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Rad Steele's Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.